Yo, what is the deal? What is the deal, everybody? Welcome to another Radio Nation Unlimited. I'm your man, Wasted Talent. I know we are a little late today. I normally don't cook this late, but there was an awards dinner tonight. You know, my oldest child, there was an awards dinner. It's her last awards dinner, for her school career. And look, I got a dad brag really quickly. My daughter made super honor roll straight A's. I couldn't be more proud. I got a dad. I know y'all don't care, but I don't give a shit. Shout out to my oldest daughter, man. My pride and joy. My daughters, man. So I'm always going dad brag sometimes, yo. But shout out to all of y'all. And before we get to cooking, this stream is powered by BetUS. 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube 150. This stream is powered by BetUS. It has the fastest and easiest payouts and deposit and withdrawal process. Go on BetUS, tell them Wasted Talent sent you, and let's get cooking. We got over 150 in the room. Get wasted with your brother Wasted. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social medias. Salute to everybody that's on the East Coast. Salute to everybody that's on the West Coast, man. And shit, man. Let me shout out to everybody who's out here, man. Shout out to my guy, Steven. Low Life Rev, man. Paul Edgerton from way across the pond. My brother Ben Bad, the general of the Get Off My Lawn gang. Oh my God, man. Patrick B is in the place. Steven. Louis 86, DeMarcus Webb, bringing a smack about the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks look pretty good, man. Yes, sir. One of the goated names. Holy shit. Said, what up, Wasted? Catch a lie. Yo, it's been a while, bro. It's been a while. So listen, y'all. Thank y'all for all the congratulations, man. Check it out, right? There was a lot going on today, man. A lot going on down in Irving, Texas. The Raiders, it's just like, man, we're always in the media, and it's never for like football lately, man. It's crazy, right? So you have the owners meeting. Mark Davis has sold off, another percentage of the Raiders to some minority owners. And I know there are a lot of people who think that this is something that is nefarious. They think maybe that Mark Davis is going to, let control of the team go. He's still a controlling owner. This is a nothing burger for those of you who don't support Mark Davis. I am one Raider fan. I do support Mark, and I believe he's going to get it turned around. I do, right? But when he was at the owners' meetings, getting his ownership stake sell-off approved, the fire sale, which, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I kind of explained the other day. Why Mark Davis was selling off pieces of the team, man. And a lot of that stuff comes from the fact that Mark Davis is the owner of the Raiders. He's out in the front. But the true and sole owner of the Raiders is Carol Davis, Al Davis's wife. And Al Davis's wife is pretty, she's getting up there, man. And Mark Davis himself is almost 70 years old. So look, we all have a beginning and an end point. And Carol Davis, might be going into that dark good night sooner than you think. And then now you will have an inheritance tax on the Raiders, man. So, Mark Davis selling portions of the team kind of secures immediate financial benefits. It enhances the cash on hand that and it enhances, the fact that he's going to have the ability to pay off that tax once his mom passes away, man. And let me be honest with you. Because that tax is on realized or unrealized gains. So Mark is pretty smart, man. It makes sense to have the cash on hand to handle it. So that's really what it's about. So it's a big nothing burger, right? So we got to get into what else transpired down there at the owners' meetings. Mark Davis was asked questions, man. The media was down there. And they asked him what he thought about how the season is going. And Mark Davis said, and I quote, "I'm very disappointed. I want to see progress," Davis said. "There's no excuses." Now, you guys hear that? There's no excuses. You guys hear that? I'm going to say it like Dr. Umar Johnson. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. There is no excuses. This is from Mark Davis himself. He says we have injuries and all those things. But your team has to figure out how to get around those issues. Bottom line. It comes down to me, and if there's going to be a finger pointed, it should be at me. Because again, I'm the one who's hiring the people who are making the decisions on the field. He said, there's a misconception that I'm making a lot of decisions on the football field, but I continue to tell y'all that I don't delegate to the people who I hire. I give them goals, and then I get out of the way and I let them try to do it and let the results speak for themselves. And at this point, obviously, we're not happy. But you have to go through the season, and then we will reevaluate. Right now, I'm not in a position of evaluating anything going forward. So what that tells me is that Mark Davis is super non-committal to Antonio Pierce, because that is a time where if you are a owner who is behind your head coach, that is a time where right then and there you will say, Antonio Pierce is my coach going forward. We're not having the greatest season, but I have full faith and support in Antonio Pierce. You know what I'm saying? So right there, by him leaving that door open, lets you guys know that all the reports that you're hearing that things are up in the air are absolutely true. Now, the Raiders have 4 games to play, and Mark Davis kind of reiterated that he's not going to make a decision on Antonio Pierce to January. And to be honest with you, I don't see what Antonio Pierce can do in 4 games to change his decision from a no to a yes as far as bringing him back. And when they asked Mark Davis, he was non-committal. He said, listen, I don't want to talk about this right now. We're still playing through the season. Now, Davis's tone to me has changed night and day in the last couple of months. Like in October, he cut Pierce some slack as a young head coach. He said, we'll be okay. Now, almost 2 months later, Mark Davis did not give him a huge vote of confidence, right? And listen, the one thing he said is the one thing that the team has done is fought hard. Because in every game, they're fighting hard. That's something you don't find all the time when things aren't going as good as you want. And that's a positive way the team's responded. Now, when it came to general manager Tom Telesco, Davis made it clear that he'll be evaluated separately from Antonio Pierce. And while they're both being hired in the same time, Pierce had a 9-game head start on Tom Telesco. So these guys are not attached at the hip. And if we're being honest, there are a lot more strikes in the positive category for Tom Telesco than there is Antonio Pierce. Let's just be for real here, man. I mean, this guy's free agency class, didn't pan out so great. But, Christian Wilkins played great in the games that he played, but he got hurt. Gardner Minshew was kind of terrible. And, he didn't really go crazy in free agency, so I'm not really going to judge him too great. But his draft class is a strong draft class already, man. You got Brock Bowers and Jackson Powers-Johnson. So he drafted 2 starters, 2 foundational pieces going forward on his draft. And he also got a few possibles in Cameron Richardson and DJ Glaze. So I'm going to give Tom Telesco a hell of a lot of credit. And I'm also going to give him a lot of credit when it comes to picking up talent on the waiver wire. Chasing and all of these guys that he's picked up on the waiver wire. So I got to give Tom some credit, man. I really do. Now, I want to transition to something else that was made abundantly clear. And shout out to the 381 of you guys in the chat. Get wasted with your brother, wasted. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Let me get to some of these comments in the chat, man. My guy Black Sheep is in the place. You're wasted. Been a while, player. Do we take BPA or QB for our top draft pick? The class is thick in this draft. Now, it all depends on the position that we're in when we do draft. I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, if the Raiders top 2, top 3, you got to take a quarterback, right? But if the Raiders somehow, some way string together a few wins and they want, because this is a bad, see, National Football, this is why it's crazy. If you almost, like as a fan, right, you always say, even when a team is bad, you want to see them win all the time, because like the 4 worst teams in the league are far and away worse than everybody normally. But in today's National Football League, you got a lot of teams that are 2-10 and 3-9. A lot. And one win takes you from being first down to like 7th. This is a bad year of football, guys. I'm going to be real with you. Shout out to my brother, David Zahn, man. Peace to my guy, David Zahn. The debauchery is starting. Yo, and we got the first super of the day. My guy, Sincal. I send mines wasted. I hope you and the fam are doing well. Raider Nation for life. Appreciate you, Sincal 805. You've been rocking since the beginning, brother, and I appreciate you for supporting the channel like you always do. And my brother, the mod god himself, Hug D's Nizzards. Every week, the Graham highlights. JPJ, love this guy. Yes, we do. We do. We do love JPJ, man. So, listen. There were also some other things that came out of this. There were also some other big news, and that is a part of the reason if you guys look at the thumbnail. The owner of the Raiders made a huge statement about Tom Brady's role. Listen, if there's any doubt about Brady having a significant role with the Raiders, Mark Davis answered that with a resounding hell yes. Davis told reporters that he wants Brady to have a huge say in the organizational moving forward. He said that includes staff and personnel decisions. Now, as Davis went on to add, Brady will be consulted regularly and potentially on picking a quarterback in the 2025 draft. So more breadcrumb trails, and there's a breadcrumb trail to Shedeur Sanders. It's right there. And, Vinny B tweeted something that I wanted to highlight, man. He goes, Raiders owner Mark Davis also said he wants Brady to have a huge say in things moving forward, right? Tashawn Reed said something about this. Tashawn Reed talked about this. Now, Mark Davis, when they were asking him questions about the team, he said, you got to ask Tom Telesco, Davis said. And when asked about his preference for the first round of the draft, and of course, Tom Brady, at some point, he'll have something to say in that. So Mark Davis is letting you know what's going on. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Brady being involved in this process, I think changes things, right? Because we don't know how smart Brady is when it comes to personnel. The only thing we could point to is his NFL career. But what I will say is this. New England, he didn't have much of a say in the roster decisions. But in Tampa Bay, Tom Brady went down there and really put together a championship team. He brought in the guys he wanted to, and it worked. It worked. And I got to give Brady his credit there. And I hope that translates into our ownership group, man. I really do, man. My guy, Noon Harding, with the $5 holler. What's good, Wasted? If we pick first, we pick Shedeur or trade back for more capital. I think you don't want to get cute. I think that Shedeur Sanders' floor is Tua Tagovailoa. And Tua is a middle of the road to high-end starter in the National Football League without the injuries, right? I think at the very top end of Shedeur's talent base, I think he could be a top 5 quarterback in this league, man, because of his moxie, his smarts. And he's just a guy who looks like he's built for the moment, right? So I think that, say, for instance, Shedeur's only as good as Tua. For the Raiders, that is excellent. For the Raiders, that's excellent because we have a bunch of neophytes and novice playing quarterback, man. I'm not trading back. I'm not playing games. And I'm praying that the Raiders aren't in this position for a very, 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 very long time, a very long time. Shout out to the almost 500 people in the room. Get wasted with your brother Wasted on the Late Night Wasted Talent Podcast. It is 5:14 in California. It is 8:14 in New Jersey and New York. And we are rocking with the best right now. Shout out to all of y'all in the chat, y'all. LS, the Damager. I love to know who would have final say over the QB in the draft, Brady or Telesco? Two head chiefs in the kitchen. What could possibly go wrong? Now, listen, bro. Minority owner, one of the 3 greatest players to ever play in this league, personal friend and business partner with the owner, or GM. Look, when it comes to the quarterback, I think that the person who is closest to the owner is the guy who's going to make the decision. And the person that's close to the owner is Tom Brady. And I think that if there is I think Tom Telesco would be smart to kind of get aligned with Brady. Because I think there's a common ground. And I don't think Tom Brady is going to come in here and not put the work in. I don't think Tom Brady's going to pull some John Gruden kind of stuff, right? I'm not saying Gruden didn't put the work in, but I think that Gruden would just come in and say, this is what I want. I think Tom Brady is going to work along with Tom Telesco, and they're going to come to that conclusion once they know exactly where they're picking. I think that Tom Telesco, Tom Brady, and all the people in the scouting department are all going to sit at their table, and they, as an organization, are going to have their board, and they're going to go off of that. And I don't think that it's going to be some write up to. It's not going to be some movie where they're going to have a power struggle on draft day. I think these guys are these guys, especially Tom Brady. They know what winning takes. They know you're not going to have this nonsense, man. You're not going to have this thing where you had Gruden and then you had Mayock, and it was this weird shit. I think that they are going to come to a conclusion on the quarterback before draft day even starts. Shout out to my brother David Zahn. Yes, Jersey's very own. My guy, navy blue. Wasted. How are you doing? Give credit where credit is due to Tom Telesco for bringing in 3 gems. Brock Bowers, JPJ, and CW before he got injured. Also Dylan Labe. Now look, I like Dylan Labe. I don't know if he's been a gem yet. I like him. I think he has a lot of talent. I am not shitting on Dylan Labe, but I'm not one of these guys who just, elevate people to places where they shouldn't be. Shout out to my brother David Zahn. David Zahn, yeah, I was down in Philly this weekend. On Sunday, I was down in Philly with my brother. Shout out to Dave Zahn. Dave Zahn is in Tom's River. The home of Frankie Edgar. The home of Frankie Edgar, baby. Trying to tell you, man. Shit. My guy David Zahn. Dave Zahn, I'm probably going to bump into Dave Zahn down at the Lacey Lodge. My wife's uncle is the exalted ruler of the Lacey Lodge down in Lacey Township. Shout out to Uncle G. Shout out to Uncle G. One of the only brothers that's a member of that lodge. Yeah, yo, hey, Dave, that's a nice lodge right there too, bro. It's right by the water. He goes there. I probably would bump into Dave Zahn at the Lacey Lodge. Yeah, my wife's uncle. He's one of the only brothers there. Shout out to my wife's Uncle G. I call him Uncle G too. I've been married so long. I adopted all of my wife's family. Shout out to all my wife's whole family, bro. Yo, my guy Access. Wasted my G. Upside isn't as important as consistency, given our situation. Do you agree? Yeah. Because the problem with upside is high upside a lot of times means high floor. Now, when you start looking at high upside players, right, you start talking about guys like Jamarcus Russell. Huge upside. Some of the hugest upside you could ever think of as a quarterback, right, as far as just talent, right? But consistency means that floor is a lot higher, right? When you get a guy who is very physically talented, when you get a guy who is big and strong and throw the ball hard and stuff like that, you know me. I'm an old school Raider. I got that Al Davis spirit in me, right? I am the guy when I go and I see somebody that can throw the ball a mile, they're a big dude, they're fast, they're strong. I'm like, well, damn, we can make a player out of this guy, right? When it works, it's fucking great, right? It's even better, though, when said player is a Brock Bowers kind of high guy. Like Brock Bowers, not only does he have a high ceiling, he has a very, very low floor because not only does he have the physical tools that are off the charts, he is a guy who was productive in college. And he's been productive as hell in the National Football League. And it's just undeniable. That's really what I want. Now, when you start talking quarterback, look, I like Drew Allar. Drew Allar, if I'm being honest, is my favorite prospect in this draft. He is my favorite prospect as far as quarterback in this draft. Him and Shedeur 1A, 1B. 1A, 1B. The thing about Shedeur is that I think because of the situation we're in, Drew Allar has high bust potential. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a younger guy. He hasn't put it together in college all the way, right? Now he looked great against Oregon. And me, if I'm picking at 5 or 6, definitely doing what I can to get him. But if I'm taking number 1, I probably got to go with Shedeur because he's had more of a consistent college career. I've seen him produce at Jackson State. I've seen him produce at Colorado. A lot of people like to poke holes in his production as a quarterback at Colorado, and you can't because they said he could never do that at a Power 5 conference, and he did. One thing about Shedeur is he's had money. He's had notoriety, so we don't have to worry about that part of it. We don't got to worry about him just going buck wild in Las Vegas because this is a kid who's been famous since he was a kid. This guy, he was on a reality show as a kid. You know, he grew up with one of the greatest football players of all time as a parent. I mean, listen, Deion is 1% of the 1%. Everybody in NFL are 1%ers, bro. That's why I laugh, bro, when people don't realize how great these guys are, bro. Guys that are in the league, even guys that aren't. That's why I don't call a lot of players. I don't call players scrubs. I don't disrespect NFL players. It's hard to play in the National Football League. It is very hard to play in that. It's damn near impossible. It's like getting struck by lightning. It really is. That's why it makes me laugh when we have Stewart on the show. And people try to talk shit to Stu. Stu is a fucking 1%er. He is a 1%er, right? 1%er, no doubt. Go back and look. But guess what? Even he didn't get to the level of where he wanted to in the league, man. And he was a stud, right? So then when you get guys like Deion Sanders, when you get guys like Deion, they are the 1% of the 1%. Yeah, look, I call players from other teams bums. Sometimes, listen, I try not to. But guys, listen. When you start talking about Shedeur, he's a guy that, if you're there, and I'm sorry, I got to be honest with you. His floor is a lot higher than any of the other quarterbacks. And for that reason, you have to take him. If you got the number 1 pick, you got to take him. You got to. His relationship with Tom Brady, the fact that, from a personality standpoint, he's not going to shy away from the bright lights. From a toughness standpoint, right? These are all ancillary things that you don't take into fact. The kid is tough. He gets hurt. He doesn't get hurt. He gets up and he keeps fighting. The way he moves in the pocket, you got it. To me, you got to take him, bro. No, I look at it differently. I seen Shedeur Sanders play tough as hell against Kansas. He played great against Kansas. He played like a man. They lost, but he played like a man in that game. They took cheap shots, and he get up and he kept playing. So I give Shedeur Sanders all the credit in the effing world. All the credit in the world, man. You got some people that say he's overrated and all this and that. But my thing is how is a guy throwing for 3,500 yards, having 30-something touchdowns and 9 picks in college overrated? Why is he overrated and Cam Ward is not? Or Dylan Gabriel? These guys have played phenomenal this year. That F up out of here. Get the F out of here talking about he's overrated. And this is my guy, V Breezy LA. But God damn it, V Breezy. Bro, how could you just say he's overrated? The F up out of here. What do you want these guys to do? You want sparks to fly out of their ass or something? These guys can only play in the conference that they play in. And Dylan Gabriel is a nice quarterback. Got the tools. He might be the new Russell Wilson. But I'm not drafting a quarterback that's 5'10". Goddamn, everybody's overrated, you guys. Kobe Live 24, you're a troll for you to say some bullshit like that. Get the F up out of here, Kobe. That effing nonsense. What's wrong with you? You'd rather have Jamarcus Stay Puff Russell than Cam Ward? Jamarcus Stay Puff Russell. Jamarcus Russell came into camp. He was 268 effing pounds. Jamarcus Russell weighed more than one of our guards. The F up out of here with that. You lucky my soundboard ain't working right now. Effing lucky. The F is wrong with you. Jafarkis. The F is, get the F up out of here with that. My guy, Sharif Salakahan. What head coach would win with this roster and injuries? See, you know what's funny about that, Sharif, man? I want to talk about that, right? Now, people are talking about, and I don't want to get into, guys, my chats have devolved in, it seems like I'm on some Antonio Pierce hate train, and that ain't it. But you guys got to understand something, right? It is not the result that is going to get Antonio Pierce fired. The thing that gets Antonio Pierce in the line of fire is it's not that he's losing. It is how he's losing. It's not that we have a lot of injuries, right? It is the application of his coaching prowess. That is what's under like, bro, that is irrefutable. That's irrefutable. Listen, I'm gonna give you an example, right? Right, and I didn't say that properly, right? But I'm gonna give y'all an example. I can give you a model car, right? Or I can give you a bicycle to put together, even better. I'm gonna give you a bicycle to put together, right? And I know that as soon as I open the box, the bike doesn't have both wheels. It's got one wheel, right? It's got one pedal, right? I'm gonna give you a power. I know that there's no way you're gonna be able to put this bike together completely, right? And I give two people this bicycle with not all of its parts. And I give y'all pipe wrench, adjustable wrench, screwdrivers, a saw, all this shit. And I watch you try to put this bike together, right? And I'm watching you. And one guy will take one wrench and hold back and then take an adjustable wrench and start putting the pieces together, even though we know that this bike cannot possibly be put together. And then the other guy has the exact same bike parts. He has the exact same tools. And instead of him grabbing an adjustable wrench and a pipe wrench, he grabs a screwdriver and a saw. He tries to put the bike together, and he tries to put it together with his hands, and he doesn't tighten anything up, and it falls apart. That's the difference between having a good coach and a bad coach. A bad coach can take a bunch of parts that you know aren't going to work, right? And it's still a pile of parts. A good coach can take a bunch of players that you know are not ready for the moment and at least put together something that is close to the result of what you're desiring. And that's what I'm talking about. Who pulls out a saw to put together a bicycle? It's not the fact that Antonio Pierce is a bad guy. It's not the fact, and people talk about fair. Everybody's always talking about fair. Yo, man, fair, life is not fair, bro. Life ain't fair. And National Football League is not about morality, bro. The National Football League is about results. So how do you get those results, right? How do you get them? How do you judge a team that's bad? Everybody has injuries in the National Football League, right? How do you judge a roster that's bad? How is that roster being coached? There's some bad football teams, bro. There's some bad football teams, but it is the application of the scheme. It's the things that Antonio Pierce are getting judged on have nothing to do with the result on the field. It has everything to do with the decision-making process for the things that he is solely responsible for. Like, what you got to do with Antonio Pierce is you got to take an index card. And I don't want to give you guys flashbacks, right? You got to take that index card and you got to put that index card over half of the screen. That's what you got to do. You got to put it over half of the screen and you got to look at the part of the situation that Antonio is responsible for. This is what you have to do. This is what you got to do. All of the fighting, the players, they're fighting for Antonio Pierce, but and I hate to do this to him, but I give a lot of the credit for the fight in this team to the leader of this football team, Max Crosby. I give 100% credit to the leaders in this locker room. I do. Because I don't think this team quit on Josh McDaniels either. I don't. And what I'm going to tell you is that when you start talking about, morality and he deserves, you don't deserve nothing in this league, in this world. You earn it all. And what Antonio Pierce right now has earned in 12 games is a 2-10 record. And there were some games earlier in this season that could have been won had he made the right decision. There are some games earlier in this season that could have been won had he made the right decision for offensive coordinator. There are some games early in this season that could have been won had he made the right decision at quarterback. There are some games in this season that could have been won had he punted at the right time or had he gone for it at the right time. There are some games that he could have won had he gone for it and scored 7 instead of 3. These are the things that you evaluate the man on. So I'm going to be honest with you, bro. That's all I can say to y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody up in here, man. My guy McFly with the $5 holler. Waste it. Am I wrong to get deja vu from Zeus at the end of the season last year about McCormick? Not saying he's a bum, but it's just definitely a similar side. And no, I think, I think there's a difference in these two guys, right? Like, you got a UDFA, right? And you have a guy that you can clearly see has vision, right? Like with Zamir White, a lot of his numbers were trumped up because he had big runs, right? And you didn't see the consistency from Zamir White. Zamir White wasn't putting together games where it was like, 8-yard run, 5-yard run, 15, 8, 9. You know what I mean? Like, Sincere McCormick and the way he's doing it in between the tackles. He's cutting it. He's not hesitating when he hits the hole. I just think it looks different. I think with Zamir White would get like you get a gaping hole, pause if necessary. He'd take off. He'd have big chunks of yards. And most of his yards were in a few games. But Zamir White, you had a bigger sample size than Zamir White. Zamir White played a lot last season because Josh Jacobs was hurt most of that season. So I don't think so. And then the thing is, it is not like next year this team is going to go into the year and like lean on Sincere McCormick to be their starting running back. So what does it really matter? Like, I think at best he's going to be a guy that gets used, right? And he's going to be a guy that's in the running back room that gets, utilized in the right and proper way. But, I don't think that Sincere McCormick is going to be a guy that they're going to go and be like, hey, we don't need to draft a running back or bring in a free agent running back because we got Sincere. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think the thing with Zamir White was drafted pretty damn high, being that we didn't have a first-round pick the year he was drafted. He was one of our highest draft picks because of the simple fact that, we went and got Devontae Adams, right? And then if you look at the person that we passed on against Zamir White, it's Tariq Woolen. And this is a guy that I wanted. Graf wanted. We were talking about him all draft. And Tariq Woolen was right there for the Raiders, and that would be an answer that they had at corner had they taken him. So I think that's another piece of the reason why you got to make Zamir White work, because drafting him in like the 3rd or the 4th, that's high for a running back in today's football. I think that's going to change this year the way the running back's coming out, though. LS the Damager with the $5 smackaroonie. If AP is back next season, do we turn our attention to college for OC? Could we pry a Denbrock from Notre Dame or Stillway, McVay or Shanahan, McDaniels tree? I think that would be more of the application, the McVay, Shanahan tree. Mike McDaniels, Frank Smith. I could see him making a lateral move if he doesn't, get hired in the coaching, in the coaching carousel. And the reason why you could see a guy like Frank Smith moving is because of the simple fact that he kind of gets overshadowed by Mike McDaniel. Nobody gives Frank Smith the credit that he deserves in Miami because he has an offensive head coach. And that's some of the reason why you see some of these offensive coordinators on these good offenses move, because they want to kind of be detached from that situation and get the credit that they damn well deserve. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny, man, when you start talking about, what the Raiders are going to do, you got to bet on the fact that they're going to go with somebody in the National Football League already. And also you got to bet on the fact that BetUS has the fastest payouts in the industry. Guys, listen, man, going over to BetUS, 150% bonus on your first deposit, and then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with YouTube code 150. You guys, going over to BetUS, fast and easy deposit and withdrawal process. Check out BetUS and tell them Wasted Talent sent y'all. And that, my friends, is how you cut a promo. This show is powered by BetUS. And this stream is powered by BetUS. God damn it, this conversation is powered by BetUS, man. Shout out to them. Capital, my God, I got to come to a conclusion that there's a lot of hate that Shador, to a lesser degree, and Cam has gotten. That has to be coming from an ugly place. That's all I'm going to say. Also, I'm warming up the Vrabel. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, bro. I'm warming up the Vrabel idea too, my brother. I am too. My guy, Xavier Foster with the $2 slappy. Coaches aren't just judged during the offseason. Yeah, that's a fact, bro. Coaches are judged during the year too, my brother. Coaches are judged during the year, and all of the decisions that you make, you got to live with, bro. You got to live with it, bro. My guy, Solomon Hall. Damn, listening to you, Lucky Lions didn't go with your thinking. Similar coach. Or where would they be? Let him learn. The team didn't quit. You too damn emotional. Solomon Hall, let me tell you something. Solomon, look, I don't see how you can watch Wasted Talent on a day in and day out basis and say I'm too damn emotional, bro. And I think when you look at Antonio Pierce and Dan Campbell on a surface level, I think you're judging this way wrong, bro. Way wrong. Dan Campbell was an assistant head coach of the Miami Dolphins, right? Dan Campbell had much more NFL coaching experience than Antonio Pierce. He did. And the reason why, and I like Antonio Pierce. I respect Antonio Pierce. I don't, like, if he comes back, will I be happy about it? I probably won't, because I have the feeling that if Antonio Pierce comes back, that, this time next year, there'll be an interim head coach here. Let me be honest with you. He'll get fired in the middle of the season because every single one of y'all who are still left on the Antonio Pierce train will jump off by the time, the season starts if we're not good, whether we have a quarterback or not. And I think it'll turn out the same way it did with the Bears and Caleb Williams. I do, because I don't think he has the tools in his toolbox. He's never exhibited that he's had the tool in his toolbox. Dan Campbell, it's not the same. Antonio Pierce does not have the coaching pedigree of Dan Campbell. He's a high school coach who didn't do well in high school. He's a positional coach. He's a guy who has been banned from the NCAA, really. Right? So, dude, this is not the same. We're not talking about a guy who's been a positional coach, been a coach, special team. Like Dan Campbell's resume speaks for itself, man. It speaks for itself. And Dan Campbell didn't make some of the dumb decisions that Antonio Pierce makes, right? And Dan Campbell is the coach of the Detroit Lions, bro, a team that hasn't won anything ever. Antonio Pierce, the coach of the Raiders, man, in Las Vegas with a new stadium, right? And a team that is a cornerstone blue blood franchise and needs to get back to that. The pressure's a little different here, bro. The bar's a little different. And Antonio Pierce probably shouldn't have been hired in the first fucking place. Dan Campbell was a hot coaching commodity when he came out, bro. You know, when you start talking about his professional career, it just does not line up, bro. It's not the same, bro. It's not the same. And he was an interim head coach for the Dolphins. He was a tight end coach for the Dolphins and interim head coach, right? He was assistant head coach and tight ends coach for the New Orleans Saints. He had a much more robust, you know, a 10, 11-year coaching career in the National Football League. It's just not the same, bro. It's not the same. I'm sorry. You can't tell me that's the same thing, bro. My guy, King 85, with Turner in the building, going out and getting Getty after the Cliff situation is cause for termination in itself. My guy, man. Sharif Salakahan, a year ago, you was totally different on P. Yes. A year ago, Wasted Talent said, listen, if Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to be here or he's going to LA or the Raiders didn't bring him in or whatever, I didn't understand why the Raiders didn't bring him in, right? But if you're not going to hire Jim Harbaugh, Wasted Talent said, yo, the players want Antonio Pierce. He's doing well. Let's not have a repeat of the Rich Bisaccia situation. Let's see how good he is. And if he's no good, give him a short contract. And if this is all lightning in a bottle and then it doesn't continue and he is not doing good, then we cut bait and get rid of him. Because what's really, everybody talks about consistency, man. I'm not signing up for consistently bad football and coaching. It's not what I'm signing up for. And I think that the Raiders have a chance to really change the narrative and change the way this organization is viewed going forward. If you go out there and you go get a guy who is a coach who has a pedigree, right? So now when you start talking about a Mike Vrabel, right? Mike Vrabel is a guy who this is not Josh McDaniels. This is a guy who has had success in the National Football League and will be on a lot of other people's coaching radar, man. Mike Vrabel has had a damn good career. He really has, man. He really has. You can't take that from Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is no bum as a head coach, man. He's no bum. He's no bum. You know, a very accomplished player, you know, first team, All-American, all of that stuff. You know, Super Bowl champion, all of that. He's 56 and 48 as a head coach. He's 2-3 in the postseason. He has a 54 and 45 regular season head coaching record. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't take that away from the guy. You can't take it away from the guy, man. As a head coach, man, he was 9-7, finished third in the AFC South, second in the AFC South. He was 11-5. He was 12-5. First in the AFC South in 2020 and 21. He was 7-10 in the AFC South and 6-11 and fourth in the AFC South, and he got fired. Lost to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game in 2019. Lost to the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC wildcard game. Lost to Cincinnati in the AFC divisional round. This guy's been like, this guy has had success, bro. You have to consider that. You got to consider that, man. And the thing for me is that, yo, listen, a lot of people say you got to run it back. No, you don't. If you see that the guy does not have the tools that you need as a leader, you know, schematically, from a football acumen standpoint, then you got to do what you got to do, man. I'm sorry. You got to do what you got to do. And yo, the thing about the Raiders, you have to be proactive and not reactive. This is not being reactive. By allowing this guy to go through this season, make the mistakes, you've gotten to a season and a half to see what you got. You know, that's just my and I don't want to get in. I don't want to talk about this shit no more, bro. For real. Some of y'all act like people cannot change their minds in a situation. And see, this is the thing. You know, and I don't listen. You can try to take me to task for that all day, but listen. Let me tell you something. You on the air as much as we are. And you watch as much football and you do as much work with this shit. Your opinion changes because football is fluid. There was a time where people would say, "Yo, man, this guy's playing great," and they have an injury and 1, 2, 3, you're replacing them. The National Football League stands for not for long. Cut the check. The head coach has nothing to do with developing the quarterback. The quarterback and the coach, it has a lot to do with it. And the offensive coordinators are the ones who help develop the quarterback. The head coach is a game manager. The thing about it is, if you have an offensive head coach, right, and you have a guy like Kyle, so you don't think that Kyle Shanahan has anything to do with developing the players on his team? You don't think that having a coach like Sean McVay, you don't think that has anything to do with the success of the quarterback and how they're playing? You don't think when John Gruden was in his heyday, you don't think he developed quarterbacks? You don't think Mike Tomlin has anything to do with the development of that football team? I think that's a little crazy, man. It's short-sighted. My guy hugged these nuts. Some folks don't talk about it. AP wouldn't be developing Sanders. I'd bet dollars to donuts that Brady develops any new QB. We'd be crazy not to. But the thing is, how much can Tom Brady, unless he's a coach, really develop this guy? Yeah, he can work with him sparingly, but that's not how you get developed. Tom Brady has a job being a full-time announcer. Tom Brady has a lot of other interests, and he's an owner and a businessman. The only way I can ensure that Tom Brady's really developing a guy is if Tom Brady's on his staff. So, I'm just being honest with you. And the fact that Mark Davis is non-committal to AP gives me the kind of inclination that he probably won't be back. My dog, Jamba Juice. I just don't see a world where AP takes this team to win a division over Andy Reid, Harbaugh, and Peyton. I just don't get what people see. And I'm telling you right now, I see it that way. Dan Campbell was 3-13 his first year. Give coaches longer than 1 year. This is the thing, bro. It's not 1 year. Antonio Pierce was here last year, bro. It's not 1 year. This is the first year fully, but it's not 1 year, bro. He's similar as a player motivator, not a play caller. You right. You like Al, fire after 1 year. You goddamn right. So what? So what? Solomon Hall. You damn right I'm like Al Davis when it comes to that. Because Al Davis was smart enough to know when something was working and when it wasn't. When he was in his heyday. I'm going to be honest with you. My guy, Joshua Mendoza, can't live in mediocrity, especially in the NFL. The Raiders need to upgrade at head coach level. Period. Thank you, bro. My guy, Dev Roy, wasted. You my guy, wasted. But the changeup is nasty. He's a first-year head coach that will be going with. No, Dev Roy, it's not a changeup. I'm looking at this team, right? And I'm evaluating this team, and I'm evaluating the coach too. And if Antonio Pierce had a 3-13 team, it's because we got robbed by the refs. But he's making good decisions as a head coach, I got no problem with it. If it's because we don't got enough bullets in the gun, I'm okay with it, right? So to speak, quotations. But a lot of these losses earlier in the season were because of bad choices, bad decisions, bruh. So if they keep him, listen, I'm going to support him. I'm going to support him. Do I think it's the right move? No, I don't. And I stand on that. My guy, Jose Elenas. OG Violator took issue with the fans wanting the team to lose for perhaps getting the first pick. I'm team lose straight up. F a meaningless win. Bro, and that's you. Like, everybody got a way to Raider whichever way they see fit. Older fans don't like that shit. Older fans remember the just win, baby. They remember the Raiders winning all the time and stuff like that. Younger fans are embracing the tank because younger fans have never seen this team win, bro. Younger fans have never seen this team in a Super Bowl. Younger fans have never seen this team have any consistent success. See, older fans can hold on to that. Guys that were fans of the Raiders in the 70s, they saw it all. So they still have that. They know what it feels like to see the Raiders hoist that Lombardi. Right? People who don't, like millennials, people who were born in the 90s and shit like that, they don't even really remember us being competitive in 2002. That's an apparition to them at this point. It's like a ghost. They don't know what that's like. All they've seen is bad football, bro, and they're tired of it. And they're on their Malcolm X shit. They're like, by any means necessary, I want this team to win. So I have no problem with you young fans feeling that way. I don't, right? I don't. I can't blame you guys. Y'all act like AP made the decision himself on Gardner. He never came out and said that, even now. More like a vote through the Nah, dog. if you the head coach, if you know who should be the starting quarterback, you go to that GM and be like, no, I'm rolling with my guy who won me them games last year. I'm rolling with my guy. I think 100% the head coach has the final cut on that. I don't think Tom Telesco is telling him who to start and who not to. Because let me tell you something right now. If you don't roll with your guys as a head coach, then look, do I think the GM gave his input? Yeah. But as a head coach, you're the one who's ultimately going to get fired. You got to roll with your guy. I'm telling you right now. Tyler Dance, wasted. What's up, boss? What would it take for the Raiders to have one game preseason or regular season in the Oakland Coliseum? Can it happen? No. No, it can't happen. And I don't know how much longer the Oakland Coliseum is going to stay open. But no, I don't think so. And there's too many bad feelings with the city of Oakland and the Raiders leaving and all of the bit and Mark David. Like, dude, no. That won't happen. That won't happen. And I don't know if the National Football League will allow that. Sharif Salagahan. Who pushed Cliff out the door? Not AP fired Tom. Nah, bro. Cliff, listen, you think Cliff Kingsbury, who right now is coaching, one of the best young rookie quarterbacks there is, right? Got pushed out the door. I am under the estimation that when they sat down and talked about their plan at quarterback and they tried to sell him Gardner Minshew, and then they wasn't moving up and all, I think that's what pushed him out the door. He went to a better place because if he would have stayed here with this level of quarterback, he wouldn't be successful. And then the thing is that, if Cliff Kingsbury would have stayed here as offensive coordinator, how much better would, maybe Aiden would have looked great, who knows, man. But I think there's a shared responsibility in that situation. It's a shared responsibility in that situation. I'm going to be 100%. I'm going to be 100% real with you. I think there's a shared responsibility in that situation, man. Joshua Mendoza, you're right. This dude hasn't made any improvements throughout the whole year. His team has gotten worse from last year. And we can argue that he even got some upgrades at some point in some positions. Yeah, I can look at it like that too, bro. But let me tell you something, man. I just don't think that there's enough there with Pierce as far as because a lot of times what you got to do is history is something that you definitely have to look at, man. Somebody's coaching pedigree is something that you got to look at because when you start looking at a player, right? Let me give you an example. When you start talking about players, right? You're more reticent to keep a player that's not being successful at one point if they have a lot of athletic ability. Right? So look at a guy like K'Lavon Chaisson. He's on his third NFL team, right? And the reason why he's on the Raiders right now, the reason why people continue to give him a shot is because K'Lavon Chaisson is very physically gifted, right? He played at a big program at LSU, right? He was a high draft pick. He has a pedigree that people are going to want to tap into because they feel like where he was in the past that they can some kind of stoke and awake that and make that transition into the National Football League. Now, Lucas Masterson does not have that pedigree. He played at Wake Forest. Undersized guy, not that, talented athletically, not heralded like that. If Lucas Masterson is out on a scrap heap, there's very little chance that if he goes to another team and does not play well, that he'll ever get to have another snap in the National Football League again. That is how the same thing with coaches. Coaches that have a pedigree, that come from a certain situation, that come from a certain system, who have a certain skill set, they get more latitude, bruh. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what it is till it ain't. People try to go back in the times and in the annals of people's careers and start pulling bullshit out. People try to do that, right? But Andy Reid. Somebody said, what was Andy Reid's record his first 25 games? So Andy Reid in 1999 with the Philadelphia Eagles, he was 5-11, right? 5-11 in a tough NFC East. And in 2000 he was 11-5. 2001 he was 11-5. 2002 he was 12-4, 13-3. Like, guys, do me a favor, man. I want you guys to do me a big favor, yo. The guys that try to compare guys like Andy Reid and shit like that to Antonio Pierce, bro. I need you guys to do me a favor and get the fuck out of here. Please get the fuck out of here. Please. I'm sorry, man.
Angry man, what you doing here? Man, sit your ass down.
Please. Guys, I don't want to keep talking about this fucking guy, man. I'm sorry, man. If we keep him, I'm going to support him because I'm a Raider fan, and I want my coach to be successful. But if we don't, we don't. Kenny Mack. We can't afford to keep AP. He's mediocre. AFT, the glamour, and the new stadium is over. We need a new young QB and competent coach to sell to the fan base, yo. My guy, Capital. One thing I don't get from Mark is he has more patience for locker room cancer like JMD and not a young developing head coach developing his craft. I don't get it. But, bro, you don't develop your craft as a head coach on the Raiders' dime, bro. They hired Josh McDaniels because of his supposed pedigree and his skill set. The problem with Josh McDaniels is that the one thing you can't fix sometimes is somebody who can't get out of their own way from a personality standpoint. I don't think that you can make up a lifetime of football knowledge, bro, like that, and have to deal with Andy Reid and fucking Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh. You can't. I'm sorry, bro. You need to strive and look for the next version of that to beat them. You got to look for the next guys because those guys are older guys. You got to look for the next bright mind in the NFL to beat them guys. I am sorry, and I don't give a shit. Hug these nuts with the $10 smackaroni. Anyone ever seen half of the intersection and have a gut reaction to find out you're wrong? None of you know the day-to-day and the real convos. Patience is key. We must stay in our lane and be Raider Nation. Okay, I can respect it, but F you, Hug these. Injuries at every position except kicker. Win AP. Look, keep supporting AP. That is your prerogative. I don't agree, my brother. Steve Roy. What OC would you put with Shador if you had to run a 2 tight end set? I mean, that's. I mean, I don't know if you have to run a 2 tight end set. Like, why would you have to run a 2 tight end set, right? But it depends on who's available. Like, I would probably like to have a guy like a Brian DeBall or somebody like that. I would. Look, my guy, Raider Rorschach. The Raider fans that are 40 plus years old are only ones that saw us winning and still hold on to the old Raiders mystique and keep the franchise alive, in my opinion, Wasted. And then, yeah, we do. We do. The old guys, we keep the Raider mystique because we remember, bro. We remember. We have a certain level of pride, man. That's right. My guy, Nada. If AP stays, who's the next OC? Who the hell knows? Who knows, bro? I don't know. Because I don't know who has those kind of connections to AP, right? But guys, I don't want to keep talking about AP. I'm done talking about this. And F you too, Hug D's. The F up out of here. Shout out to my guy Hug, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Get wasted with your brother Wasted, man. This is a very low-key Wasted show. Not a whole lot of screaming and yelling, and it's okay, man. It is okay. It is all right, man. Now, guys, I'm not going to get into this too much, right? But because we're not going to talk about the Falcons. We'll talk about the Falcons tomorrow or something like that. But, guys, what do you guys think about Aiden O'Connell returning to practice after avoiding this season injury, man? I thought the Raiders were going to shut him down to try to go full tank mode, man. But on Sunday against Tampa Bay, man, Aiden O'Connell left the game with a bone bruise to his left knee, did not return. The injury occurred late in the third quarter, man, and it caused some fans like myself to wonder, man, is this a season-ending injury? I mean, the way this season has been going, you couldn't have told me that Aiden O'Connell was coming back. But Aiden is like one of those knights from Monty Python's Holy Grail. Merely a flesh wound. You know, with his leg hanging off and everything. Aiden O'Connell is back. You can't kill Aiden O'Connell. You can only hope to contain him, man. Aiden O'Connell, man. You can't. He's like the damn Terminator, this guy. The damn Terminator. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of here for the Desmond Ridder revenge game. I'm here for it. I'm here for it, bro. I think Aiden's probably going to start. We're going to get the injury report. You know what I mean? Let me go check the injury report for the day, man. Let's check the injury report. Let me pull his junk up, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Get wasted with your brother Wasted, man. And yo, guys, listen. Listen, man. Listen, y'all. I forgot to tell you guys something, man. Forgot to tell you guys that this stream is powered by BetUS. 150% bonus on your first deposit. And then 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150, you guys. This stream is powered by BetUS. And you can tell them Wasted Talent sent you, god darn it. Now, guys, this is what we're going to do, man. We're going to go. We're going to see what's going on with this damn injury report, man. Who practiced today? Who did? Who didn't, man? Now, conversely, too, the Raiders signed Carter Bradley to the active roster, too. And they placed Zamir White on injured reserve. So the Zamir White experience is over. We've signed QB Jake Luton and Tyler Moano to the practice squad and released Marquand McCall from the practice squad. Oh, Marquand, high stakes. McCall is gone. The big fella is out of here, man. The big fella is out of here, man. But we got to find this injury report for you guys, man. We're going to get into that. And then, I think I'm going to get off the air, man. Get off the air, man. We've been rocking and rolling for an hour, guys. Get wasted with your brother Wasted. You guys tell me in the chat if you want to stay live a little bit. You tell me how much longer you guys want to get wasted. And if you want to stay live, I'll stay live a little bit longer. But I think it's about that time, man. It's about that time, man. Now, listen, man. One thing we got out, we didn't get the injury report yet, but Sincere McCormick will be starting, man. And Pearson announced that Alexander Madison will return from injury this week after missing the previous 3 games with an ankle injury. However, McCormick's status as a starter, he revealed that he has earned the starting role moving forward, and he has to run his tail off, right? So we know Alexander Madison is coming back. And listen, man, that's good that AP's riding hot hand. This is a guy that's coaching for his job. I don't think that, Antonio Pierce has been made any assurances or any promises. So you know that there's no full-on tank job, man. No full-on tank job, man. So today, wait a minute. The injury report is not out yet, guys. I'm sorry. The injury report is not out today. I'm going to get that to you guys tomorrow, because they're playing on Monday night, so they didn't put it out, right? Hold on. My guy, wrong way. There was a time I was choosing between Belichick and Gruden. Davis sought a new coordinator. This day and age is about recycle old coaches. Yeah, man. It's not really, right? So D'Amico Ryans is not a recycled old head coach, right? Nick Sirianni's not a recycled old head coach, and they're doing well, right? I think the Atlanta Falcons, went with a new guy, and they probably should have stayed with Arthur Smith. So it's not necessarily true, my brother. It's not necessarily true. Sniper said you log up and we will revolt. You bugging. What's up, Snipe? Snipe, what's the deal, my brother? Yo, love your shit on Twitter, man. Love it, bro. Love it, man. Amy Trask wanted Belichick. Al chose Gruden. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, John Gruden was not a bad choice. I think the thing with Bill Belichick, I think Bill Belichick and Al Davis does not work because Bill Belichick has to have too much control. The situation that Bill Belichick was in was like a match made in heaven, right? So the thing that always, and that's why I give Robert Kraft, it's crazy that they didn't put him in the Hall of Fame yet as an owner, right? Because Bill Parcells and Robert Kraft, after Parcells went to a Super Bowl, they could not get along because Bill Parcells wanted total autonomy over the roster. And Robert Kraft was not willing to give him that. But somehow, some way, Parcells stepped away. Then Robert Kraft must have gave Bill Belichick assurance that he'd be head coach. When Parcells went to the Jets, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick was there with the Jets, right? Because there was a little time where Pete Carroll was the coach of the New England Patriots in between Parcells and Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick did well with the Jets. The Jets went to the AFC Championship game. They lost to Denver. And when Bill Parcells stepped away, he had Bill Belichick, with the plan was supposed to be the coach of the Jets. He was coach of the Jets for a few hours. He stepped down. The rest is history, right? It's just funny to me that he had the wherewithal and the foresight to hire Bill Belichick to be the guy to run the whole organization, right? And even with his hire of Pete Carroll, look how great. Look at the three coaches that this guy has hired. He hired Parcells, he hired Pete Carroll, he hired Bill fucking Belichick, bro. What a great job. That's why when you have an owner that knows how to hire, man, it's worth his weight in gold. It really is, man. Telling you right now, man. The Gruden thing worked because Gruden didn't have any experience, and so Al can get away with doing what he did. Bill already was a head coach before that. It wouldn't have worked. Yeah, I don't think Bill works, not having total autonomy. It just did, especially back in them days, it just didn't work. You know what I mean? And it's weird because I think that's one of the reasons why Bill went to college. If you guys haven't heard, Bill Belichick took a job with the North Carolina Tar Heels, which is crazy, man. My guy, Ty on the Raider. My opinion, not sure if a real Raider would be head to toe in Chiefs gear. Who's the Chiefs gear? Who's the Chiefs gear in here? Get the F up out of here. Said Gruden is a real Raider. My opinion, you know what? Look, I went off on Gruden for that. I did. I went off on Gru for that, right? But Gru went to support Andy Reid. That's his best friend. It is what it is. I'm not going to say Gruden is. Look, you know what, man? F that, man. Gru, you could have went there and just put on a black T-shirt, man. You could have went and put on a black. Man, get the F up out of there. The F up out of there. The F up out of there. The F up out of there, bro. The F are you talking about? Gruden bandwagon hopping. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest with you, man. Get the F up out of here. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Oh, man. Said F Gruden. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all are crazy, bro. Y'all are crazy, man. The F Gruden, man. Damn, yo. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah, it's a knock on whatever you with me. Yeah, hey yo, guys, we got a troll in here, right? Video wake surfer, right? Now he says this dude blocks anyone who don't agree with his Tardo takes. Now, this is definitely a content creator right here. It's a content creator who's a lame, who's upset that nobody watches him. and he's coming in here trying to hide. You know what I'm saying, bro? This has got to be a content creator or some fucking bum. You know what I mean? So we're talking about Parcells and we're talking about Kraft. You know, excuse me for going off the top of the dome because I was around when that happened. Parcells, I think he started coaching the Patriots in 93 and Kraft came there in 94, so my bad. But bro, if you don't like my channel and you don't like my takes, man, fuck you. Fuck you. And yeah, I block people like you. Yes, I do. And guess what? That just makes the show even better, man. To be able to unceremoniously block a fucking bum like you. Fuck you and your opinion and get the fuck out of my chat. You're blocked. The F up out of here. Yeah, get the fuck up out of here, bro. Out of here, man. I actually love shit like that, bro. I love the hate, bro. I love it. Fuck you and your takes and all your nonsense. The F up out of here, man. I love this shit, bro. I love it, bro. You know what's funny, bro? I'm gonna get out of here, bro. I don't do the little YouTube goofy shit, man. I'm too grown and accomplished and successful for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fucking man, bro. I don't do shit like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Those who like watching me, watch me. Those who don't. I'll be honest with you. But yo, just the thing with me, bro, I don't have to like Google shit and stuff like that. I just come right on here, boom, and do what I do. Because I've been watching this game a long time, bro. And for me to have so many people that support this channel, bro, it goes to show me, bro, exactly the fact that there's a lot of people who agree with the shit that I say. And they like watching my channel. But yeah, I do block people who come in here and they're disrespectful. I'm not gonna have none of that energy around me, bro. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, bro. We all about positive energy, bro. I keep it a band, bro. Like listen, man. If you don't like me, you don't F with me, all that kind of stuff. Cool. Go do your thing, bro. Do your thing. Don't worry about wasted, bro. We over here chilling. Everybody has a great time over here, bro. We don't want no nonsense, bro. It's right, man. Grown man channel over here. Grown man. Thank you. Thank you. My chat got my back, man. Appreciate you, man. I watch you wasted because you're much older than I am, and it keeps me grateful knowing that I'm going to die 30 years before, but I'm going to die 30 years. Damn, that is very dark. Listen, Van City Raider, my guy, right? But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. You are definitely not going to die 30 years after me, Van City. You look like 2-week-old fruit. You are aging like milk, Van City. Wasted talent will be here long after you're gone. With a beard down to here, bro. I will be 100 years old. And you, my friend, you will look like beef jerky by the time you're my age. That F up out of here, Van City. Nah, I love you, bro. Shout out to my dog, Van City, man. Don't forget, bro, it's been a minute. Say something about Bet US. Keep going strong. Hey, man, I got to. This show's been powered by Bet US. You love it. Get the F up out of here. Nah, guys, but listen, it's time to get up out of here, man. It's like 9, then 9:30, right? I got out of the gym, you know what I'm saying, early this morning. And I said to myself, I said, yo, I gotta get up in the morning early and just go to the gym like I used to. Because now my heart's feeling better. I'm feeling better, right? I get to get back on my regimen. I gotta get up. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm old. You guys have a great night. And the word of the day, Adam Sweeney, is blocked. That's the word of the day. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You guys have a great effing night, man. Love every single one of you guys, man. And guys, listen, I want you guys to pull on up. We're gonna be breaking down the Falcon game, man. And we're gonna be rocking and rolling all week for y'all, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Peace, man. Hold on. What the hell is Wrong thing, guys. Yo, have a good night, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.